how many of you watched the video that I made? It was on the eve of June 27th, and I posted it. How many of you saw that? All right, well, I don't think I'll be repeating myself too much, but I said in that video that I was feeling very nostalgic and a bit emotional because it was the first broadcast of Dark Shadows. And for me, it was also an anniversary of the launch of my career. I suddenly had a job. I was a working actress. I had union membership. I had a contract, and I had a paycheck. But I have to say, it was also my opportunity to turn in my funny years. Yes, but thanks to my mom, I waited another month before I turned in my funny years because I wanted to make sure Dark Shadows was going to last more than a month. And of course it did. So anyway, I was far from the only one who launched a career with Dark Shadows. There were a lot of us. Alexandra Malka, Kate Jackson, David Selby, Laura Parker, and there were a number of actors who had done very little or no television before Dark Shadows. And this will surprise you, but Johnny Carlin, Louis Edmonds, who else? There were several surprising people. Mitch Ryan, who had never done television before they did Dark Shadows. But also for me, Dark Shadows was the catalyst for so many wonderful things that have happened in my life. Writing and starting my publishing company back in 1985. I think a lot of you know that, my first books, my Scrapbook Memories of Dark Shadows, originated because, my really close friend, my dear friend, Joel Cruthers, passed away in 1985. And there was a magazine editor that asked me to write a piece. And I started writing it, and the memories just flowed on the page. I adored Joel. We traveled together, we dated a bit, we were each other's confidants. And I knew him right up until he passed away. He was actually living in my neighborhood. So when I turned that article in, I just kept writing. I also, if you remember, Grayson Hall passed away that year. So there were so many memories. And not only that, Ben Martin, who was my boyfriend when I was on Dark Shadows, who was a time-life photographer, he used to come by the studio and photograph us. And he was there for all of House of Dark Shadows. And none of those pictures had ever been published before. So when I did my Scrapbook Memories of Dark Shadows, we had all of those photographs and then all of the text that I wrote. And I was so excited about it that I wrote a letter to Dan Curtis. And I came across this letter a few months ago, and I'm going to read it to you. It's just a copy of the letter. Back in the days when we wrote on this electric and had carbon copy. Anyway, here's the letter. This was written June 2nd, 1985. Dan Curtis. Dear Dan, 20 years ago this month, you cast me in the role of Maggie Evans, and we taped our very first episode of Dark Shadows. 20 years! Exclamation mark. It's hard to believe there's still so much interest, but I've been besieged lately with requests for photographs and interviews. And it finally occurred to me to write down my memories and anecdotes of those days and include the photographs that Ben and I took and during the 4 years of the series and publish a book. I'm so thankful I took all of those pictures and kept them. It's become a labor of love, and I'm very proud of this book, and I think you'll be terribly pleased with it as well. And I promise you the first copy hot off the presses. This book is a personal celebration for me too, for my 20 years as an actress, which began with Dark Shadows. Thank you again for giving me my very first professional job with all best wishes. Sincerely yours, Kathryn Leigh Scott. Well, I'm going to mention this too. This wasn't in the video, but toward the end of Dan's life, I was so grateful that I was able to arrange to get together with him. And I knew he had all of the copies of my books. I made sure that he did. But I brought along a copy of my scrapbook memories of Dark Shadows, and we sat in the garden in the sun, and we didn't talk very much, but I just paged through the book, through the color pictures in the middle. And at one point, his hand kind of fell across this one picture of Jonathan and me, and he said, "That was good, Katie." I can't tell you how meaningful that was, because, you know, I think that all of us have experienced this, haven't we? That, you know, we have somebody in our life, a teacher or a boss, a grandmother, whoever, that has such an impact on your life. And when you get that opportunity to be able to say, thank you, you mean so much in my life. And I'm so grateful that I had that opportunity, because Dark Shadows has been a part of my life, literally, for 60 years, including today when I get to say to all of you, I get to say to all of you that so many of you have had an impact on my life. And I see these familiar faces, and you bring back wonderful memories. And I think that when you all see each other, you've been coming here since 1983. We've been having these festivals. I think you probably feel the same way. So, yes, I was a little bit emotional and very nostalgic this whole last month. So, this has been very much a time of reflection for me, and that is reflected in this book, Reflections. I decided some months ago when we moved to a new house. That's my husband. You know, we got married this last year, and moving to our new house and combining everything, it meant that I came across an awful lot of file boxes with stories that I had written over the years, like way back, 40 some years ago, because, you know, and I thought a lot of the stuff is out of print, and I compiled this book. And it's a story, I have childhood stories, but also stories about Dark Shadows and some of the other work that I've done, and friends and husbands. Well, as Joan Bennett once said to me, yes, I've had a few.